Hello YouTube, today I'm working on the 2006 Dodge Charger Pursuit package. Now if you've been tuning into my recent videos, you will know that I am pretty much removing all this foam that was sprayed inside the rocker panels that leads up to the lower frame rails on this unibody LX platform car. Now this is the Dodge Charger, not the 300 or the Magnum, but this is still the same repair process that you would be doing on this area. And even the Challengers have this foam in this area. As you can see, I'm using my pry bar to get in there and remove all of this foam. Now, I do recommend that you remove this in the process of welding, as I even thought I removed all of it to a point where it was safe to weld in the new metal. And if you saw my previous video, I'm still working on those lower frame rails. But in that time period, a spark traveled up and lit some stray foam on fire. So I will highly recommend that you remove every ounce, even up to the driver's seat area, because I thought I got it all out, and from experience, make sure that you don't even weld down there until you have every ounce of foam out, because mine was just a freak accident. So if you see any black marks right now in this tunnel area on this pillar that's between the two doors, that is what happened. I did contain it. It didn't do anything besides burn the seatbelt, and I put it out with the fire extinguisher before anything happened. But this is why I want other people to hear my experience instead of sugarcoating it and telling no one about my little accident that happened. So, to keep yourself safe, your shop safe, garage, outside, anywhere, or even yourself safe and your ride safe, just do yourself a favor and remove it all. And if you want to spray it back in there, which I'm not going to because that's the main reason that this car rotted out, you can respray in the right structural foam or whatever foam was used from factory. Now it could also be used for sound deadening also. At this point, I'm not going to be putting it back in, like I said, as I'm worried about it causing future rot after I'm done repairing it, as this car is almost 20 years old, which in a lot of states will be considered a classic or an antique, depending on what state you're in. I'm not the best with the classification, but if you know anything, at a certain point, 2 decades does do a lot to a vehicle, so I would like to try and progressively slow down any of the negative effects that driving the vehicle on the road will do versus preserving it in a garage for the rest of its life, as I will be driving this until I have a shop and I can store it away inside and use it only on the weekends. As you can see, there's a lot of foam in there, and it takes a lot of patience and time just to scrape away at the inside of the vehicle and get all of this out before you can weld is a really big issue, as you can't really get anything in there besides a pry bar or anything else like that. You're going to pretty much have to just chip away into tiny little chunks instead of breaking it all off in one piece and pulling it out. Each side took me a little over 30 minutes to clear out at this point once the seatbelts were out of the way. Like I said, on the first time welding on this side, I didn't know there was leftover foam, and it caused a slight little mini fire and burnt the seatbelt, which I will be buying a new one from the junkyard or on eBay from another OEM replacement. So if you're going to attempt this repair at home and not bring it to a shop, please, by all means, take your time taking the foam out. Now, I didn't let the panel get hot enough to the point where it ruined anything. It just lit the foam on fire instantly, burned, and I got it out within 30 seconds or less, because I was still underneath the vehicle. Now, to help with some of the scent that was going on from the extra burnt foam that was removed, there's a little bit of a scent inside that cavity. I just used some multi-purpose foam cleaner that I was using. I sprayed it in there just to help remove some of the scent and absorb it. And I'll be using an ozonator to kind of clean up the inside of there, get rid of the scent later on. Now, it's very minor. You don't really smell unless you put your nose up to it, and that's just because of what happened with the little bit of the incident. But I will get in there, I'm going to scrub it out, use some towels and stuff like that, remove any residue. All the foam is gone now it's just metal in there. Then I'll be able to prep it. Then I'll use the rust converting gel, let it sit, remove it, and then I'll be using that yellow rust preserve paint that allow the remaining rust that's on the surface to be converted, sealed away, and be protected for another 20 years or more. And the reason why I'm using the 20-year mark is because this car is basically 20 years old, and I can estimate at this point, if I could keep on top of the repairs, it will easily live over 20 more years. One thing I will say about any TV show that's about restoring classic cars or working on anything, they don't really show you all of the hard work and time that goes into it. So everyone always assumes that it's just this easy project. So even these little mundane little chores like removing out the foam is something that you probably wouldn't have seen too much on TV or even heard about with the repairs that go on in these more modern cars because it's not as filmable and is not as enjoyable to watch as it's not really the most entertaining. I'm uploading this video to help anyone else that has these issues with their LX Now, this is already cars. At the 30-minute mark. There's still a decent amount of foam that's left inside the cavity of these rocker panels, and as you can see, the foam was holding this moisture, dirt, and debris up against the surface and causing this oxidation to happen. There is some factory holes in there to allow it to sort of breathe, vent, and evaporate. But the problem is, with the amount of foam in there, it's not allowing this inner structure to pour out all the debris that holds it in there in the first place. Now, taking off the seatbelt on the opposite side now, the other side was the one that I already started welding, and that will be another video I'll be uploading later, which is for the lower frame rails. As you can see, I'm working with bare minimal tools right now. I'm not in an advanced shop. I'm still starting out and working my way up, but I have enough tools to get things done and keep on making these cars. As I work on each car, I like to show you guys what I'm learning, what there is for different things to look out for as a precautionary tale on what may be a weak point on the same type of vehicle or even on another vehicle. I'm just trying to document and show you what I did to help repair or solve those problems that you might encounter too. And that's why I like to upload it, because I might have not seen another video up. And if you see something else that you may have done differently, you could do that on your vehicle. This is just how I handled the situation or repaired it. Alright, back to what I was working on. As you can see, I'm trying to get the vacuum steady and hold itself up against the cavity so it can suck in the foam as I'm scraping it, as I'm just one person out there at this moment. Now, with the big clumps, I pretty much just pick them up and put them in the garbage so that they're out of the way for the hose and they don't clog your hose up and stop you from sucking up all the smaller stuff. Take your time, as it's going to take a long time to get all this debris out, and you're going to have to flex the hose around inside there to get it to fit down there and get everything out. And when you think it's done and it's removed, it's not. It's going to be stuck against the wall, so you're going to have to get your pry bar in there, your screwdriver, anything that you're using to scrape that away so that you can clean it up. Now, if you haven't liked and subscribed already, please do, and you'll see anything else and also some of the classic cars I'm working on. Maybe you'll be interested in some of them that I'm working on, and maybe you want to purchase it, so you can email me or even just leave something in the comment and I'll get right back to you about it. Thanks again. As you can see, the inside is almost all the way defoamed, halfway down the rails. It's a little hard to film it in that angle to get in there, but as you can see, I'm clearing it up. There's still some stuff stuck on there, on the walls. So you're going to have to keep getting in there. And once you see light, that's where the underneath the car is actually. That's where the rot is that I am repairing on those lower rails on this unibody LX platform car. As you can see in the front, there's still a lot of foam left, and I'm not done yet with chiseling it out. But just be patient. It takes time. Take a lot of breaks if you need to. If you have somebody that you're helping out, maybe have them take over and try to scrape away at it with the vacuum and the chisel or the pry bar or the screwdriver or whatever you're using. As you can see, this is the underneath of the car. I finally got the hose to go through all the way, and that is the area that I will be repairing. I did not do any work on that side yet, and I'm still cutting away at it. Then I have to descale it, wire wheel it, and convert it, and then spray it with a rust preserve spray, and then I will be able to repair that section. Alright, at this point it's pretty much all cleared up. I'm almost done getting it done, but I'm going to try and get a little bit of straggle foam that's left in there. but some of it will not come off. I know that. But then I will do my rust converting gel, get some sort of brush in there, brush it down, and then spray rust converter paint over it to seal it all up and lock it away, as the foam will all be gone and not be rusting it out anymore. However, if you do choose to put the foam back in there for your extra choice of going back to factory with the correct factory foam, I highly suggest still painting and sealing away everything before you do that. Like I said, I'm not putting the foam back in there. I live up northeast, and that area gets way too much salt, and that's going to cause all that moisture and stuff to be locked away in that foam, like you see in this vacuum that I have here. Thanks again for staying tuned, and I hope you guys solve your rust problem and remove all this foam so that you can get rid of it too.